The fallout from the TikTok Kia challenge. Hi there, I'm Jeff, and this is Plain English lesson number 581. Here at Plain English, we help you upgrade your English with stories about current events and trending topics. When were you ever going to learn the word engine immobilizer, if not on Plain English? JR is the producer. He has uploaded the full lesson content to plainenglish.com/581. That is where you can find the transcript of today's lesson. You'll also get our video lesson, exercises, translations, and more. plainenglish.com/581. Coming up today, we'll continue the story from Monday about a social media-inspired crime spree. Over 8 million Hyundai and Kia cars sold in the US have a shocking vulnerability. With just a USB cable, you can steal the car. It's all on TikTok. And the thefts have wide-ranging effects on innocent bystanders, on police forces, insurance companies, auto body shops, not to mention the car owners who fall victim. In the second half of the lesson, we'll spend some time reviewing the expression, spend time. And JR has a song of the week from Tina Turner. Here we go. On Monday, you heard that social media videos showed just how easy it is to steal a Kia or a Hyundai. For model years between 2011 and 2022, without a push-button ignition, you can steal a car with a USB cable in about 30 seconds. The popularity on TikTok and YouTube has led to a dramatic increase in thefts of Kia and Hyundai vehicles. Some cities experiencing an 800% increase in thefts of these cars. This is a crime spree in the age of social media, and it affects more people than you think. Let's start with the most obvious, the personal impact on the victims themselves. Having a car stolen is inconvenient at best. People have to scramble to make arrangements to get to work. That means paying for rental cars and Uber rides. Others have lost valuables that were in the car: musical instruments, computers, documents, luggage, things like that. As you heard on Monday, some people have had their cars stolen multiple times. They've had to pay thousands of dollars out of pocket on rental cars and Uber rides, all costs not covered by their insurance. But this is only the beginning. The TikTok-inspired thefts have two parts: the theft of the car and the reckless driving after the fact. Police videos show stolen cars swerving through quiet residential streets, crashing into highway barriers, hitting other cars, and more. It's common for groups of teenagers to steal a car. Then, some passengers hang out the window while the driver speeds through town. When the joyride is over and the car is destroyed, they abandon it on the street. This is not safe. In Buffalo, New York, 6 teenagers stole a Kia and subsequently crashed the car. 4 of them, including a young mother, were killed in the crash. In St. Paul, a city in Minnesota, a 70-year-old woman was killed after a stolen Hyundai crashed into her vehicle. The drivers fled the scene. In February, in Baltimore, a man driving a stolen Hyundai was fleeing police when he crashed into another car, hit a pedestrian, and then crashed into an abandoned building. The building then came falling down on top of them. The pedestrian died. There are other instances of injuries and damage to property that occurs after a Kia or Hyundai theft. Local law enforcement is furious. Car theft is a serious crime. Every time it happens, police take a report and investigate. Prosecutors' offices often bring charges. If the car is wrecked and abandoned, the city has to clean up the crime scene. The time police spend investigating these car thefts is time they are not spending on other pressing community matters. And people who steal cars go on to commit other crimes too. The mayor of New York says that car theft is driving shootings and crime in the city, and that Kias and Hyundais are driving car theft. He's giving out Apple AirTags for people to put in their cars. But this doesn't address the main problem. The cars are often wrecked and abandoned after a few hours anyway. Insurance companies are affected too. Auto insurers estimate their total cost from this debacle is $500 million to $600 million. 2 large insurance companies have decided to stop writing new policies on affected cars, though they'll continue to honor the policies they've already established. What are Kia and Hyundai doing? Both car makers are offering a software upgrade that would stop theft of this kind. The new software would not allow the car to start unless there's a key in the ignition, bypassing the USB hack in the steering column. It takes about an hour to install at the dealership, and this update is free to owners. They started installing the update in February, and it appears to be working. Over 8 million cars are susceptible to theft in this way. So far, 600,000 have received the software upgrade, or about 1 in 13. But getting an upgrade to 8 million owners will be difficult. Not everyone lives near a dealership. Not everyone will hear about it. Not everyone will be motivated to get the upgrade. And it won't solve the problem of break-ins. A thief might identify an older model Kia or Hyundai, break the window, and try to steal it. Even if the thief can't steal the car, it's still a shattered window. Kia is offering stickers to put on windows to deter thieves. The stickers say the car has been repaired to prevent theft. The car makers are also offering steering wheel locks for law enforcement to pass out to owners. State attorneys general are urging the federal government to issue a recall of the vehicles. They accuse Hyundai and Kia of negligence, saying they put a car on the road that's easy to steal. They think the car makers are responsible for the crime spree and they should pay for the fallout. Meanwhile, the process to fix damaged cars is a nightmare. When a stolen car is recovered, it has to be repaired. And the missing parts are the same on all recovered cars. The cover on the steering wheel column, for example, or the windows. A lot of these cars were made 10 years ago. Dealers don't have a lot of extra steering wheel column covers in a warehouse for cars that were made 10 years ago. So there's a backlog of these parts. Plus, with a rapid increase in shattered glass and damaged body panels, many body shops simply can't repair cars right away. There can be a 3 or even 6 month wait before they can get the parts they need. Financially, Kia and Hyundai are already starting to pay. They agreed recently to pay $200 million to settle a class action lawsuit among owners. Insurance companies are suing the car makers for their own losses. That's the $500 million number I cited before. Then there's the cost of the repairs and the steering wheel locks and software upgrades. They're also monitoring social media for any new videos that glorify or show the car thefts. They petition YouTube and TikTok to take down offending videos. It's against the terms and conditions of both platforms to promote crime. But like so many things in digital media, once it's out there, it's out there. For now, the controversy doesn't appear to be damaging the brand's sales of new vehicles. The thefts have been going on since 2021, but consumers are still buying new Hyundai and Kia vehicles. The new ones, after all, don't have the ignition problem. Hyundai says it expects the combined company's sales to increase 10% in 2023. Will this blow over? I don't know. I doubt it. It's not like people are going to forget how to break into the cars. I think Kia and Hyundai will have to figure out how to reach those other 7.4 million car owners to get the safety update, or they'll continue to face a backlash from police departments and politicians. Everyone blames Kia and Hyundai. I guess they did cut corners. Maybe just reserve a little blame for the people who are actually stealing the cars? This is an easy one today. You've probably heard it many, many times. It's called spend time. Typically, we use the word spend with money. If you have $10 in your pocket and you spend $2 on a cup of coffee, you have $8 remaining. You spend money when you give it away in exchange for something else. You spend $2, you get a coffee. It's similar with time. We all have a budget of time. We have 24 hours in a day. We all have a limited number of days, although we don't know the exact number. When we spend time on something, we make a conscious choice to dedicate some of our limited time to that purpose. Do you like to spend time with your family? That means, do you like to dedicate part of your limited time on this earth to this activity? A lot of people do, but certainly not everyone does. Some people prefer to spend time alone. They like to dedicate time to being alone. Other people hate spending time alone. Okay? That's how we use spend time. In today's lesson, you heard that police forces around the US are spending a lot of time investigating car thefts. Police forces have a limited number of man-hours, and they increasingly spend those hours investigating car thefts. And it's all because of online tutorials showing how to steal a Hyundai or a Kia with just a USB cable. The police forces would much rather spend their time doing other things. They have other cases to solve, but they also want to spend time in the community, getting to know the residents, building trust, and preventing crime. When you say spend time, you're speaking in general, but you can also say spend plus a specific amount of time. For example, I spend about 2 hours writing each lesson. That's how much time I dedicate. 2 hours to writing the content that you hear in just 20 minutes, 12 or 13 minutes if you listen to the fast version. Well, that's not to mention the time I spend preparing the content for the website, social media, video lessons, and the like. All in all, I think I spend about 6 to 8 hours per lesson if you include recording and all that stuff. And there are 2 a week, so I spend about 12 to 16 hours per week creating the content for all of you. Have you ever lost your work because you forgot to save it? That doesn't happen as much anymore since a lot of documents are auto-saved or backed up to the cloud. But it used to be that you needed to hit Control S at regular intervals because if your computer froze, you'd lose a lot of work. This has happened to me, I can't tell you how many times. There's one time I remember I was in Cincinnati working at my company's office there. I was working for a client based in the city, and I was working at the office on something for the next day or the next week. And my computer crashed and I lost the whole PowerPoint presentation I had been working on. I had spent probably 3 or 4 hours on it, and for whatever reason, I forgot to save it, and the computer crashed, just a full blue screen of death crash, and the file was lost. So I had to spend another 3 or 4 hours recreating the slides late at night. I was the only one on that floor working late at night, and I was cursing myself for losing all that work. If you travel to a place, you use spend time that way too. In April, I spent 2 weeks in the Mexican state of Quintana Roo. I was in Tulum and Cancun, and I did a day trip to a city called Valladolid. Mexico City, where I live, is not a hot place. It's not cold, but it's not hot either. So it was nice to spend some time in a warmer climate. When I was in my previous job, I traveled a lot, at least before the pandemic. I would spend 3 or 4 days a week on the road in another city like Cincinnati, Atlanta, New York, Toronto, wherever. You can even use this for a place you've lived. I spent 15 years in Chicago. That means I lived there for 15 years. Now, out of all the years I'm going to have in my life, who knows how many, I dedicated 15 of them to living in Chicago. I wasn't there, obviously, 24/7 for all 15 years, but you can say, I spent 3 years in New York if, like me, you lived for 3 years in New York. We mentioned Tina Turner on Monday, and in honor of her passing, JR has selected a Tina Turner song for today. It's The Best. The famous lines go like this: "You're simply the best, better than all the rest, better than anyone I ever met." For the last 30 years, Tina Turner lived in the Swiss town, I'm going to pronounce this badly, Küsnacht, I think it's called, on Lake Zurich. She became a Swiss citizen in 2013. I had no idea. Küsnacht, from the pictures, looks absolutely stunning. Well, that's all for today's Plain English. Remember, the full lesson, including transcripts, are available online at plainenglish.com/581. We'll be back on Monday with a new topic. See you then.